Clap. All right. I have clapped. There's a waveform.
Did that pick it up? Oh, yeah, that's a spike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a spike. Oh, I need to turn my gain
What's
down.
the point of the clap?
It's to sync up the audio tracks.
So that you can line up the spikes on the audio.
So you don't have to go through each one individually.
Okay.
I've explained this to you multiple times.
It's been a long time, Braden.
It's pretty
From
self-explanatory.
here to there.
It's been a long time getting from there to here. It's been a long road. Wait, no,
My
I
time
backwards.
is finally here.
And then the rest is kind of jumbled. And I will touch the sky. I'm not gonna. What? You're not gonna hold
Hello,
me down
cool
no more.
people.
You're not gonna change my mind. Cause
I've
I've
got faith
of the
And
heart.
welcome to Off the Deep End,
And no one's gonna bend or
a Deep
break
Listens
it.
podcast
I got faith to
where we
believe
cover role-playing video games
that I can
in
do
depth.
anything.
I am your host, Braden Arbitrary Water Redacted. Joining me, as always, is the spooky skeleton
of Star Trek Enterprise.
in your closet.
Sorry.
Chris Zombie Pie Redacted.
Did I consume libations prior to recording this episode? I'll never say.
Also joining me is the vampire with the vampire. It's Adam Borgmaster Redacted.
You should keep the whole singing bit in just to embarrass me and Z.
I'm not embarrassed.
Oh, don't worry.
I'm willing to talk to you
Don't
about
worry.
the temporal Cold Wars.
Yeah, let's talk about the temporal Cold War.
I've never seen an episode of Star Trek Enterprise.
Do you want to do a watch-along podcast about Star Trek Enterprise?
No. Because then I would have to get Paramount Plus.
Yeah, that'll do it.
No, instead, we're here on this very spooky day. Not to listen to two possibly drunk men sing the theme song to a TV show that went off the air 20 years
Killed the
ago.
franchise almost.
But instead, we're covering a video game called Sweet Home for the Famicom. It was released on December 15th, 1989 for the Family Computer in Japan. It was developed by Capcom, the Capsule Computers. It is important for many reasons. But before we get into that, perhaps you would like to give us money. That's right. If you give us $1 American on Patreon at patreon.com/deeplistens, you no longer have to parasocially interact with us. You can socially interact with us and tell us our opinions are bad. For $3 American, you can listen to the anime podcast that ZP and I and Pete do roughly once a month. We're going to do Excel Saga. I'm excited. Hopefully it still holds up.
You can also listen to Cherries of the Pods, the Stargate watch-along podcast.
Was that the show you were singing the song to?
No, that one doesn't have lyrics.
Oh.
Good intro, though.
Yeah.
Stargate.
Yeah.
Good intro.
Yeah, they reused the song from the movie.
Yeah, one of the few defensible parts of the movie worth saving. I cannot wait until you have to subject those chuckle fucks to the other movies that are not the main one. Because holy shit,
You know what?
Wild.
You know what? Once you get to the end of season 10, you're desensitized to like bad television.
I like
so
Arc
then
of
those
Truth.
TV movies.
Arc of Truth
Like-
is fine. Continuum is average, and you should
MacGyver's
skip
in it.
Catherine like it's the Black Plague.
Oh, there's a third one?
Yes.
I kind of checked out.
Christopher
after
Judge is
Continuum.
there.
But Arc of Truth is good. Continuum is just,
I mean, they wrap things up. They give the show an ending. Like, you're satisfied at the end of it.
in theory. Okay. So, Braden, we picked this to be our spoopy Halloween time video game because it is one of only a handful, a rare selection of RPGs that could reasonably be called horror games.
Horror PGs.
Isn't that what it
horror
says in the
games.
box, though? Isn't that the Capcom official genre is horror RPG?
Who knows? I can't read Japanese.
But anyways,
I'm going to say it is.
it's a horror RPG.
Yeah.
There's no, like, Sweet Home is I would say from what I played the game, unless you really struggle to understand how the game works, which does take some adjusting, it's a south of 20 hours horror RPG where a team of people are trying to get out of a spoopy house that is very clearly trying to kill them.
Yeah.
The entire house is
is
trying to kill them.
A residence of evil, one might
It
say.
is a
But-
adaptation of a film, though, is the part that sometimes gets
Yes.
lost in the mix. This game is legendary
We-
for being influential, but what oftentimes gets overlooked is that it is an adaptation.
It's a licensed game.
It is
Yeah.
a film.
And we watched that movie.
We watched the movie. So, Sweet Home. Sweet Home for the Famicom. Do-do-do-do-do-do. It's a video game. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Sweet Home for the Famicom. Do-do-do.
And he was judging us.
Yeah.
If you dipshits can have an embarrassing singing moment, I can too.
So
That's what I think.
the Sweet Home. Who's the director again? The famous. horror
It
director?
is directed by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. So he is actually a fairly big name in J-horror. He made Cure and Pulse in the late 90s and early aughts, which are kind of up there with the original Ringu as far as being definitive works of Japanese horror. So he is a guy who has films in the Criterion Collection. He is a filmmaker who has made good, important films that people like.
Is Sweet Home one of those?
This is not one of them.
No. So I didn't look it up, but I did watch the movie. Is this an early work of his where he's still trying to feel it
Yes.
out in terms of his craft, or was this just maybe an experimental
So,
thing that
Kiyoshi Kurosawa, this was one of his first quote-unquote respectable movies. Previously to this, he had worked on what are known in the biz as pink films, which are to say, softcore
Sexploitation.
TNA.
yeah,
say.
sexploitation,
Exploitation
or,
films.
like softcore pornography. No,
Yeah.
just straight up
Such films
sex,
as
but it's there.
Kandagawa Pervert Wars.
Sure.
And the excitement of Do Re Mi Fa Girl, aka Bumpkin Soup.
The best way to characterize a Japanese pink film is your Ichi anime, but one step above, where at most you would see
they're like
some stuff above.
they're like the U.S. equivalent. They're the Japanese equivalent of all of those action films from the 80s where a lady would take her top off.
boob or scream horror films.
Like, Canon basically made nothing but those. But yes, this was like his first quote unquote real movie. It is one of those things where you can just watch the entire thing subtitled on YouTube. No one's gonna stop you. No one's gonna copyright claim
No one
it.
gives a shit.
It doesn't have a Blu-ray release.
It's out there.
And apparently, the version that is on YouTube is the home video release, which has several added reshot scenes
And those
that are comedic in nature that the director has disavowed.
because the producer went in and made those because he wanted to mess around with the movie, do his own thing. Because it wasn't a successful movie, right? In theaters?
No.
No, so I guess the producer was like, okay, well, I'm going to take a swing at it. I'm going to add this whole scene in the desert, trying to get the key for the mansion. You know, add some goofs and gags in there. And it definitely adds to the campy nature of the movie. It turns something that would be dour to something that's high camp.
Yes.
But they ain't good.
No,
Well,
I mean,
look,
it's
yeah,
campy.
it's-
Of course not. It's shock.
Here's the thing. I don't think the film's very good.
It's fun.
It takes 40 minutes for horror things to happen
I would say it's a fun movie.
in a 100-minute film.
Like in a schlocky 80s horror, like monster movie kind of way. It's fun.
It's not terrible, but it's very much, hey, this TV crew goes to this mansion in the middle of nowhere to photograph the frescoes of the artist who used to live there. Spooks ensue. People get murdered.
Like 2 people, three people die horribly.
Yeah. And someone at Capcom said, what if we made this into an RPG?
Yeah.
And in true Famicom fashion, it is, let's say, tangentially faithful
It has the house.
to the film it is based
It
on.
has the main ghost. It has the characters.
Yeah, it has the main ghost. It has the frescoes. Each of the characters, so there are 5 characters. Each of them has an item that vaguely connects to an item they used in the film.
Yeah. That's good
And-
enough. That one guy he melts like
Yeah.
he does in the movie.
Yeah.
Yep. It.
You defeat the final boss by throwing a child coffin at it, which is very faithful
Yeah.
to the movie.
Some of the enemies are pulled from specific scenes from the film. Some of the levels, I guess, flesh out scenes and moments that are like a scene at best, and are like full-on levels.
There's a whole thing of turning on the generator.
Yep, there's
Yeah.
that part too.
So they pull more than you would think from the movie for being a movie tie-in game from 1989.
Yeah, it's weird. It's almost like this is a Gaiden take of the film. And I've always kind of wondered, I don't know if either of you found any documentation, did they see the script and then play with the script, or did they see the movie and then decide we can't just shoot shot
I
for shot?
I believe the lead producer from Capcom, whose name I am currently blanking on, because I'm really good at Tokuro Fujiwara. He was on set for a couple days, and he did see the script and like asked for some idea, like gave some ideas for what
He asked for just basic guidance in terms of the structure of the film.
he asked for basic guidance and like asked like, hey, can I change this with the director's blessing? So there was a certain amount of, this is definitely more faithful than your average NES movie tie-in, which for those of you who remember the early internet, back when talking about bad old Nintendo games was a popular pastime.
Like I say, if you're angry and also a video game nerd.
Yeah. If you're going to go back to the past to play shitty games that suck ass. This game is a fairly straightforward Famicom JRPG mechanically.
But there's weird mechanics in there, though.
Yeah. In terms of how you are navigating this mansion and solving puzzles, it's real fucking weird to see this and go, oh, they just took all of this and put it in Resident Evil, which, is the only reason anyone talks about this game is because Sweet Home was the original inspiration for Resident Evil.
I do think that it's weird. It's weird enough as a game to where it would still get some talk without the Resident Evil connection.
Oh yeah,
more so than like Linda
weird
Q,
novelty
for
here.
example.
Yeah,
but it'll be more niche but not forgotten.
So here's the deal.
Yeah.
This seems to be the favorite go-to point for Capcom in saying, if it weren't for Sweet Home, we wouldn't have made Resident Evil, which for me is that is revisionist history. That is absolutely revisionist history. They can say that all they want.
They've also mentioned Alone in the Dark.
Really, Sweet Home is important. Resident Evil doesn't happen without Alone in the Dark, is the real thing.
Yeah.
And it's a smokescreen to a degree, so as that Capcom can point internally that they have been kind of in control of their own future, and also a Japanese developer pointing to a non-Japanese game as a source of inspiration? What?
Alone in the Dark was made by French people.
Anyways.
It's okay.
And
whatever.
You can
So the reason why they're able to get away with that is because the director of Resident Evil, I'm blanking on his name.
Shinji Mikami.
Shinji Mikami, one of his early projects for Capcom was Sweet Home.
Yep.
He was a programmer or art guy or art lead on it or something. And
yes.
So it was him with that producer brainstorming, I guess, for how to do a Alone in the Dark on the PlayStation. We're like, okay, let's just do Sweet Home, but Alone in the Dark.
From the man who brought you Goof Troop for the Super Nintendo.
Now, going into this game, I knew reputationally that it was widely considered influential, formative even. All of that's true. All of that is 100% true. What I was not prepared for, and I understand that this game has a lot of different parts where they had to basically build an RPG from scratch. They couldn't just blindly do what a lot of people were doing at the time, which is follow the Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest template. This is a horror game. We have to have horror elements in here. If we're going to be an RPG, it's got to do certain things. I was not prepared for how much this felt like a deconstruction of the RPG genre up to this point, especially Famicom era RPGs, because it's actually pretty basic in terms of what you're expected to do. There are only so many rooms in the mansion, though you do explore the certain exterior parts of the mansion. You have only so many party members. There's permadeath. There's only so many encounters in the game you could reasonably be expected of doing. So it feels limited.
You can also save anywhere.
You can save anywhere too.
There's also only
is a big
There's also
deal.
only so many healing items, period, in the game.
Well,
the items you use for the adventure game part of it can be used in combat in different ways. It is
that was deliberate though, because they wanted you to be fearful that these characters can die, and so that works in the game's favor of that tension, which we'll talk about later. In which, when a character dies, they're gone. There is no dragging their ass to a fucking priest and then bringing them back from the dead or popping a phoenix down. They're dead. And you even see these gruesome cutscenes where you get in detail their entire death, which was pretty cool, but also can be pretty frustrating because you can end up in some death spirals if you don't know how to recover from a character death. But interesting, cool.
Yeah, but also we live in current year, and you can save liberally and also use save states liberally.
But even
Thankfully,
back in the day, the ability to save scum through certain things to an extent made it very manageable in comparison.
Yeah, that's
to
why
other
I
games.
looking at some like just very basic Google translated reviews of this game that I found from Japanese magazines that are on in the Internet Archive. It seems like the most common criticism is people even back in the day thought this game was too short.
whereas for us, this game being like 8 hours is a plus.
Yeah, I mean, they get a lot of mileage out of this mansion, I'll say that much. There are climactic and palette changes with every transition from one room to the next. I guess we should get into the mechanics of this game because this is maybe the most interesting part of it. The basics of this game are not your normal JRPG, even though it does style itself and is structured very similarly to a JRPG. So, Borg or Braden.
Tell me about the vacuum cleaner.
Well, okay, so each character
Borgmaster.
in the party has an item that they are required to use, or is...
That is a permanent item that has infinite uses that they keep on them, and then 2 extra slots for items, and then a weapon slot.
Yep.
You find various weapons and items throughout the house. The weapons get better the deeper into the house you go. The items can be single-use or multi-use, and it's anywhere from like a healing tonic to a board you put over gaps, or rope, or different kinds of keys, or a gem you need to move a statue. You know, just imagine Resident Evil, all the kinds of crap you pick up and will need to do things, and this is where that comes from. And you have 5 party members, but only a 3-person party. So you have a party of 3 and a party of 2 usually, and you can switch you can switch control to any character at any time. So if you move a party of 3 characters to like a different area of the mansion, you can immediately switch back to the other party of 2 somewhere else entirely. And when you get into battles, you can have them call out to their party, and then you take control of them, and you can move them around freely without battles, which is a speedrun tactic. And the idea is to have them go and join up with the other party, and then all 5 characters will be in combat, and they all get experience, and they can all use their items and level up. And these items, you can also use them in combat, like the camera that the camera guy has. It's mainly used to take pictures of the frescoes to get hints, which are needed in a casual playthrough. But if you take pictures of bats, it does a lot of damage. You know, the lighter is good against maggots, but also burning ropes that impede traversal. Let's see here. What else is there? The rope you can get is good on the living armors. You know, and there's all of these multi uses for the items you pick up and the items you have on you. It
is weirdly ahead of its time with that
like
stuff.
It's more dense and complex than you would expect from a Famicom game, and that's interesting. And the party mechanics, you can just hot swap between the parties. It's a bit clunky, but you can do it. It's encouraged.
Yeah, it took me a while to get used to, like, okay, so clearly I need to have this character with this character so as that I can get past these couple of rooms or doors. And when I had to swap characters from the 2 parties that I had formed previously to my current environmental impediment, it took me a while to figure out, okay, how do we do this? Because it's not the most intuitive system. I realize that is partly because the game is old. I get that, but it's not a great menu-based system.
They are pushing what 8-bit RPG menus can do with their party management and item management. And as far as the combat's concerned, you attack. The magic system is called prayer. You pray. There's a bar that goes up and down, and you hit it at the right spot to use the amount of prayer points you want to use, and then that does basically a magic attack against enemies. And that's as far as the magic system goes. It's just those two abilities in combat. Combat is not really the point. You do it in order to reach the level thresholds you need for the late game. But otherwise, it's just a drain of resources because you don't heal on level ups. But the healing items are strong, but the healing items are finite.
There's no resting system. You can't just like park your characters in a corner and have them like take a breather. So really, you want to avoid combat as much as possible,
but also,
or you want to get through it as quickly
as possible.
Like you get through it as quickly as possible, and there's minutia of your party goes first in any combat, so you can one turn kill an enemy. But that you're probably going to use a lot of prayer points doing that, or if you're lucky and it's an enemy that is weak to an item you have, that would help. So even though there's limited options for combat, there's still a lot going on when considering combat at the same time. There's more depth than you would think, but it's also clunky depth because again, the Famicom.
Yeah.
And then there's the adventure game stuff.
Yeah,
where
you have to like acquire certain items or apply items to different environments, and these give you hints, but they also give you items that you need to use to like trigger doors or secret passageways.
Yeah, it's like you need to pick up the mallet. You don't know why you have the mallet at first, but then you go to a rock and you hit the rock and break it and open a path. And there's a hint for that in places. You also use the mallet on mirrors. There are some enemies. There's like... no, like you definitely just use a guide, and it does make me wonder how much information was in the Japanese manual for this game.
The frescoes will give you hints, but it's very like use the mallet on rocks.
Yeah, the frescoes make it possible to play casually, but
and the bodies you find of the spooky skeletons who are like, remember to use wooden boards to cross gaps.
Oh yeah, fun fact about the wooden boards. Most of the boards last for 5 traversals. That's like a character traversing on it, not like a party traversal. But there's one board in the game that's a different color when you pick it up. No extra description, but it lasts 100 traversals. So there's little things like that. It has like the kind of obscure hidden things of like a Zelda almost, and the adventure game logic of like a Portopia. But then it's Dragon Quest II at the same time. So you throw concepts from those 3 games into a spooky horror mansion. And that gets you part of the way to what this game is. And that's a weird mix of mechanics.
I'll say this. I'm glad they didn't do what everyone, especially in Japan, was doing whenever they got the right to a movie title or tie-in game, which is make a shitty fucking platformer that plays like ass. And so this being an RPG is like a novelty, and I guess it's... Would you say this is mechanics driven? I guess so, but it has ideas. It's got, grit to it. And I'm so glad that this isn't like a bad platformer or like goddamn those Golgo 13 games where they're trying to be action shooters and they're the worst goddamn games ever.
And like this might be the most like unique and out there console game of 1989, just in general. Like because it is different from everything going on at the same time. Like not just in RPG spaces, because like 1989, that's Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest 3. You have Megami Tensei 2. You have like is Ys 2 out by then? Is Alex Forsarian? Is that when that came out? Like, and then there's this wildly different from everything else.
Yeah, it's like, to borrow a term that Braden's used from time to time, this game does feel like an evolutionary dead end because no one has made anything even remotely like this.
Well, so no, actually,
let me counter that.
No,
RPG Maker horror games, bitch.
Yeah, because when you play this and you know anything about the RPG Maker horror game scene that happened in the 90s and aughts, it's like, oh, it's
Corpse Party.
it's all Sweet Home. It's been Sweet Home the whole time. It's like not just Corpse Party. I mean, like the palettes are like, oh hey, it's Corpse Party. But like gameplay wise, you know, I can't think of any names off the top of my head.
Oni, Yumi
Yeah.
Yuki,
Oh no, but there's
Ib.
yeah, Ib. Like there's a lot in like the I guess what you call it Dojin, RPG Maker scene or like the indie RPG Maker scene in like the 90s and aughts that it's just Sweet Home.
All right, so let me take this back. Capcom didn't go back to this well.
I mean, they did. It's called Resident Evil.
No, but they didn't make another horror RPG. They made a horror survival action game.
A survival horror game, as it says on the box.
Yeah, it says on the box, survival horror. And, you know,
I'm going to be a genre dick, but only the genres that are printed on Capcom and Konami games from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. It's interesting. I wonder, like, considering that Capcom's a pretty smart developer, there's got to be a way for them to, I don't know, not necessarily modernize this. Well, I guess it's the movie, right? Like, this is an important game. It's kind of surprising they haven't done more to bring it back into the fold. I guess it's the movie rights then.
I mean, we talked about Third Birthday, you know, earlier this year, and just the rights of doing a licensed a sequel to a licensed game. When you look at Shin Megami Tensei and all the drama with like the original author, you look at, you know, try to license out Parasite Eve, you know, to try to do more of that series. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do that, and Sweet Home, I imagine it would have sold okay, the game, but for a movie that no one cared about. So, bigger, better things to do.
Yeah, it's like, the weirdest thing to say is, like, when it's doing weirdly experimental things, I enjoyed the game more than when it was just an RPG. It's like, okay, I've gotten an axe. I guess any of you can equip this? Like, there's no real classes. The only time that I have to worry about this is when I get a rune weapon, and then only the magic casters can do this. Which is the two men, and then the rune spears can only be by the womans, because the fragility of woman. And the one thing that I found very confusing were those weapon stats, or just the stats in this game, because the rune spear, I remember it just continually messed with my head. Its stats are listed as 5-3, and it's like, what the fuck? Why did you number these this way?
I don't think anyone understands how what this weapon stats mean in Sweet Home.
Like, I've read like 2 guides, and they both propose 2 completely different ideas in terms of what those numbers mean, and I find that very funny. Very funny.
So, dear listener, if you are going to play the game, just change out weapons in like the higher level areas when you find them, because probably better.
But
levels are the thing that
the levels are the most important thing. But there are parts to this game that are like steeped in its mystery and reputation. Here, I'll just read this little tidbit from the highest reviewed game FAQs guide. Some people think the numbers on weapons relate to the direction of the attack. If you are facing right with a weapon that has a higher number to the right, then you will do more damage. I tested this theory and can see no difference in direction. Other people believe that the stats represent physical and spiritual attack power, and that the first number is the attack power against regular enemies, and the second is against ghosts, wraiths, and less tangible foes. However, I also tested this, and while this is the most credible explanation, it doesn't always relate to the actual encounter. So no one knows what these numbers are. There's just like, it's almost as if this game itself is a cryptid.
Or it's just no one cared enough to actually dig into the code.
I mean, if you're gonna make a horror
Because
RPG,
here's the thing about NES games is people have broken those things wide open.
Yeah, it's
yeah. But also just the idea of in this horror RPG, the stats themselves make no sense, and it adds to the tension. I do kind of like that idea. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
yeah, it's there's weirdness to this game, like from top to bottom. Like, why would you have a party and team button? I understand the difference between those two commands, but boy howdy, did I even up until the end fuck up which one was which. And just like some of those transitions between going from an RPG or an adventure exploration level to an adventure sequence are very awkward. Very, very awkward. And
But yeah, it's doing a lot more than most NES games are doing.
Absolutely.
Given the part where there are 4 buttons on that controller.
And while this is something that I've been thinking about, it's almost as if, because considering like what you can get up to in the game, to a degree, the game is actually more gruesome than the movie, because the movie just has these large swaths where nothing happens, and it's just a bunch of characters faffing about in a fucking spooky mansion. Whereas in this game, the tension, despite the fact that the game is longer than the movie, is so much better maintained, and some of the stuff that can happen to your characters is so much more scary and horrifying than anything that you actually encounter in the movie.
It's impressive at how much atmosphere building it does for an 8-bit game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the first time you encounter a man, it's like it's a man.
The scariest monster of all.
Man. But no, like the creature designs are real good. Like the sprite work is real good. That guy melt.
Yeah, there's some really good gnarly sprite
Yeah,
work.
like that guy melts. Real gnarly. I'm surprised Nintendo didn't look at this.
It was like, wait, no, you absolutely cannot put this on our console. There are children's.
Like it's almost like they get away with some like PC-88 stuff on here, to which I applaud them.
Some dead of the brain.
Oh, well, not quite that far, but definitely in the same vein. Like definitely like the horror sensibilities were taken from the Japanese PC horror game scene, such as it was, and you can tell, which is why the sprites look pretty good, I would say, because it's evoking that genre. But no, I mean I think it's a good looking game for 1989.
Yeah.
Which for how small it is, you'd hope so.
Yeah, there's not that many levels, and kind of similar to the film, when you do move or transition your group of parties from one room in the building to the next, there are very rare situations where you want to go backwards. You're always kind of going forwards. The only thing that can really screw you over is if you forget the final item checks, which is 4 special items and then 3 candles. And if you don't have everything, and then even prior to that, you need to find like 2 rings and 3 slides, and like there's a lot of item acquisition to open.
Yeah, the whole MacGuffin juggling is very
frustrating.
Adventure game kind of thing.
It's very frustrating because of the limited inventory system that you have, which, you know, the quest items are in their own little crease, but yeah, just juggling all of these items is not fun. It just isn't fun. It's actually incredibly annoying, but it's not like disqualifying, especially when you go into this game realizing that it's from the goddamn 80s, right?
Yeah, and like needing to use those MacGuffins in order in the final boss is weird. It makes the boss easy if you know what to do when, but impossible otherwise, which is a choice, definitely.
Yeah, because if you don't use the quest items, it's not that, oh, you just inefficiently beat the boss. It's like, no, you cannot beat the boss. You have to use this.
No, it's a gimmick boss. You gotta know how to do
Which
it.
for a horror game, yeah, I guess you have the final boss be a gimmick boss. Because, like, an actual, like, stat boss, gating boss, or a skill-based boss kind of would lessen the atmosphere, probably. And also it fits with the movie. Like, they use the items against Mamiya.
Yep.
So that fits. I do want to touch on the main plot difference between the game and the movie, such as it is. And that it isn't the cast of characters who screw up and release the angry ghost lady in the game. Because in the movie, the cameraman, while going to refill the generator, knocks over like a memorial, like little rock tower, and that wakes up Lady Mamiya, the evil ghost lady who murdered children, and then that causes all of this spooky to happen. But in the game, it was a previous group of people who were exploring the mansion that accidentally woke up the ghost, and all got murdered. And then you kind of walk in afterwards, and are immediately accosted by the ghost. Which that's an interesting change. To have it be where it's like, no, like the player characters didn't fuck up. It was these other characters who did it, and now you have to go and save the day? Question mark? Survive?
I actually, to a degree, I almost preferred the again, another creative choice where I preferred the video game to the movie, because it gives a sense of desperation to the characters because they are thrust upon into this situation, and they're a bit more like the trials and tribulations are a bit more not necessarily relatable, but sympathetic, because when you watch the movie, it's one of our protagonists being a dipshit.
There's a bit in the movie where we all collectively said, "Why don't they just leave?" And then that was answered because one of them drives their car into a tree.
Yes. Oh, yeah. She freaks out, gets possessed, and then drives a car into a tree. And it's like, okay, that's why they don't just leave. They should just leave immediately. Okay, just walk. Like that gas station is within walking distance. They could still just leave.
In the game, it's like, oh, we came over here to investigate stuff. Oh shit, shit's already gone down. Everything's fucked. We can't get out.
Yeah, like they walk into the entranceway. They're like, huh, this house is old. Doors locked. Ghost appears, says, "You're all gonna die," and then shit pops off immediately. And like and the whole thing is just getting out of the house. Which that works better.
Yeah. So oddly enough, the weird example of a tie-in game that is a noted improvement over the film.
Don't watch. I mean, you can watch Sweet Home.
Watch it.
It's on. We watched it. It's not awful.
It's fun. I had fun. Fun.
But yeah, it's like a kind of decent little schlocky J horror film from the 80s. It's no Hausu.
Yeah, but few things in life are.
What is?
Yeah. Few things in life are.
There's no kung fu in this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I enjoy. Yeah, I guess we should talk about. We talked about how that final boss is a gimmick boss. Did either of you complete the game with a character dead?
No, save scum.
I save scummed. When I did have characters die, but I absolutely save scummed it, and I recommend that people do. Apparently, some interesting things, like just different things of like the characters.
Yeah, there are different endings.
Yeah. So cool. But yeah, like it's weird to see the RPG genre get slightly deconstructed so as that there's the tension of a survival horror game. Like that part worked. The weird transitions to do adventure game MacGuffin finding and then pixel hunting, I kind of am okay with that, as you two both know, but that's when the game started to somewhat lose me. The team management side definitely was a little creaky, and it started to lose me even more, but I still was on board with everything that this game did. I think we recommend this game, do we not?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a cool game.
and it's mercifully short.
You can finish this in a handful of sittings. Raves off the deep end.
Yeah. It's obviously, it's, I guess if there's one thing we want to talk about before we rank this, it is, I mean, what? We have Kudelka. That's the other big one that people talk about, but there aren't a ton of horror RPGs unless we really want to get into the indie scene.
Or we consider Vampire the Masquerade a horror RPG.
I mean, Vampire
because Bloodlines has that one level that everyone talks up, and you're like, yeah, that's pretty impressive.
A shame about that game launching as hot as it did, and basically thank you, GOG, for patching together that game to where it doesn't
Thank
combust.
you, fan patches. Yep. We'll play that
Boy,
at some
howdy.
point.
Like, I think about how that game is slightly below KOTOR 2 as the hottest game launches I have ever seen in my entire life. Because it's KOTOR 2, Vampire the Masquerade, and then maybe Vegas, New Vegas. Do you put New Vegas above either of those?
New Vegas was pretty hot. I assume all RPGs these days are some level of hot.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like
those were definitely infamous.
I'm trying to think of like other horror RPGs that we would want to play. I mean, obviously the main pod did like World of Horror. Kodelka's always been on our short list. Vampire the Masquerade, sure, but don't play Bloodline 1. I don't think we're the...
You mean Bloodlines 2?
Darkest Dungeon is something for the main pod, and I guess the other big, like, white whale is to play System Shock 2. Because we've already done Parasite Eve.
Oh, well, there's one game. There's one game you're forgetting.
Planescape?
No.
No, it's called Fear and Hunger 2 Terminal.
No, I thought that. I was just hoping you two would forget about it.
Or maybe the Stalker series counts as a horror RPG?
I mean,
if being Russian.
I mean, if we're
horror,
considering Russian as a horror, then we have to include the Pathologic games.
Yeah, but those aren't RPGs.
Those are lifestyle choices.
Yeah. All right, let's rank. Let's rank
play
this.
those not bad, but like those really crusty Elvira games. I don't want to play those games.
But then there's all those
I'm
indie
good.
RPG Maker games. So,
Yeah, we're good.
So talking about like games that were sold in stores. Yeah, there's very few horror RPGs
In boxes. Yeah.
You gotta
All right.
know a guy.
You can find this list at bit.ly/OTDE rank. The first top 3 games are Might and Magic 6: The Mandate of Heaven at number 1, Suikoden at number 2, Xenosaga Episode 1 at number 3. At the bottom 3, I finally correctly got the numbering sorted out. At number 86, we have Unlimited Saga. At 87, Hoshiwo Miruhito. And at 88, Descent to Undermountain.
This is a hard...
It's probably going to be at the bottom.
This game,
But,
Sweet
all right.
Home's going to be in the bottom?
Wait,
Oh,
what?
sorry.
No, of course not.
I thought
Okay,
that's what you were
'cause-
saying. Sorry.
Because I was gonna say, how does this game compare to Digital Devil Monogatari Megami Tensei?
I mean, that is actually a genuinely
I
good
haven't-
starting point. Is because
You're
they're
welcome.
kind of like
Yeah.
spoopy.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. Do you count Shin Megami Tensei games as horror RPGs? No, we can't do this
No.
discussion. We can't do this discussion. Okay. Digital Devil Monogatari. I think this game... Boy, it might be a tie? We can't say tie, can we?
No, we cannot.
Okay, so is this game better than Dragon Age: The Veilguard? I say yes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Is this game better or worse than Legend of Legaia?
Yes.
This game is better than Legend of Legaia
Okay.
because it's 8 hours long instead of 40.
Mm-hmm.
Or however long it took you to stream that game, Chris.
Yeah.
Do we just want to put it below Megami Tensei 1?
Because like Dragon Quest 1's at 30, Megami Tensen's at 32. Is this just the 8-bit zone that we're building out here?
At some point, maybe we'll play Dragon Quest 3, and,
That's the...
it'll go up a few spots. I'll be real here. If we were ranking Final Fantasy games, which we're not, thank
Most
God.
of them would be at the bottom.
We already have a Final
none
Fantasy
none
game,
of those.
but yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean Final Fantasy Adventure, yeah.
Yeah, so FF10 would be at number 1, and then every other game would be like below 50.
I'm sorry, I'm making a wanking motion. You FF10 people. You play one RPG and you're like, oh,
I played Sony RPGs.
it's got a
before
sphere
that.
grid.
Well,
I
Braden,
played-
I've always
played
said there's a
9-hole
better sphere
FFs.
grid for now.
Yeah, okay. You can do an episode on Path of Exile by yourself and tell me about how it took you 130 hours to make an interesting build.
What is my play? I'm not going to read my Steam hour log.
Okay.
Anyways, so we think this goes below Monogatari or above it?
I would put this below Megami Tensei 1.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Because this game is a weird novelty.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think
Whereas Megami Tensei is a trendsetter, a pathfinder.
So this is
Trailblazer.
the Michael Jackson's Thriller of
don't do
NES
that. Oh.
RPGs.
This is the
Monster Mash
Okay.
of Famicom RPGs.
Congratulations to our new number 33, Sweet Home. This is normally where we'd say, what are we going to play next? But we already know. We're playing Tyranny.
yeah, we're going to have a good time.
We're going to learn about evil and being a rules lawyer.
Oh, yeah, there's that part too.
Oh, it's great. It's so good. You can just be the worst legalistic asshole.
Just the most
So
lawful
look
evil
forward to that.
piece of shit.
Yeah.
Who's-
You can go full on
Evil asshole.
procedural asshole. And that's why I like that game.
Yeah, it's the game that Obsidian forgot, other than Dungeon Siege
Yeah, well,
3
it's the game that, yeah.
or Armor Warfare.
Or the Pathfinder Adventures card game.
Skyforge. People talk about Alpha Protocol more than Tyranny, and that bums me out because I think Tyranny's rad.
Alpha Protocol is bad.
both Alpha Protocol and Tyranny are classics.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
But no, yeah,
We'll see
Tyranny.
you all-
It's a good game. It's constantly on sale. I would say don't pay full price for that game.
And it's like 20 hours
Yeah,
long.
don't pay full price for Tyranny. It's always on sale. Always. I have it on GOG, and I think I paid $15.
They've given it away for free multiple times.
Yeah. So look forward to that, dear listener.
All right. Thank you, Chris Zombie Pie Redacted.
Sure, no problem. Spookies.
Thanks you, Adam Borgmaster Redacted.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you're cheating. I see the thing.
Oh, well, guess what? There's no such thing as cheating in a single-player game. Bye.